Okay, guys, this is part 0 of what if Deku had SCP-682 abilities. Basically, his abilities would be the only thing that could really kill him, since he's a human, would be his age. He would have extremely high strength, speed, and reflexes, though the exact level would not be. His physical body grows and changes. So, if he's gunned down, he would eventually revive himself and be able to grow armor. Basically, like Prototype, the Blacklight virus. He would also basically say if a Nomu killed him, well, let's say with a blade, he would come back to life and be enhanced. Basically, whatever that could kill him, his body would make a reflective thing, a reflection, basically. If a nuke was to kill him, he would come back and would be immune to nukes. He can consume or share materials. This type is going to be a good person. You could destroy half of his body, and he'll still survive. He's also, his abilities basically kind of like One for All. He will have, like I said, extremely high strength, speed, and reflexes. Pretty much, in SCP lore, SCP-682 fought, I believe it's SCP-106. No, it's, I forgot the peanut, basically. Whatever his name is. 173. 173. He fought SCP-173. The guards shot his eyes out, and then he was able to grow his organic eyes. Basically, he can't be killed from anything. 096, the Shy Guy. Though they have fought, the Shy Guy, when he ever goes back in that room, he's scared of him. So that's going to be the thing. He can be really dangerous if he was a villain. Midoriya, how we would do this is, Midoriya at a young age was a special child, basically. He was, at a young age, his quirk was, how we say, really powerful. Like, they wouldn't really do it in front of his mother, but they tested it, like, poking him with a needle, basically to get blood. Well, after that, when he doesn't, like, you know how kids are afraid of needles, his body would grow a protection, a protective armor. So they decided, since he's that powerful, they would start, without her knowing, they would basically get, like, someone with a emitter quirk, let's say a flame type of quirk, just a weak little flame quirk. They would burn, get Midoriya, he would regenerate, and then when they do it again, he would be fireproof. Basically, he's going to be OP. And just to make it a little more OP, I'm going to give One for All. Just to make this Midoriya overpowered in the My Hero universe. So, we're going to the little origin real quick. I already done it. Now, his mother and father has... It's rare for people not to have their parents' quirks. Now, let's say one of his grandparents, had these things. A weaker version of this quirk. How I mean weaker is because it's slower for his grandfather to be able to regenerate and crap. But he died from old age. That's the only thing that could really kill Midoriya in this. His old age, because he's still a human. His quirk just makes him vulnerable to anything. So, he got his quirk. Now, him and Bakugo would be rivals. Bakugo would eventually beat him once, and then they would have another rematch, and after that, Midoriya is explosion proof, basically. So, Midoriya, with his strength, speed, and flexibility, basically, he's basically like his one for all self. He can dodge real quick. Well, Midoriya would just keep winning because of that. Now, Bakugo has learned is stronger in this. Sorry, guys, I'm doing something. Let me check my time real quick. But yeah, he would be a lot stronger. We'll go to where in canon now. Midoriya and Bakugo are friends. Bakugo and Midoriya, once you guys wanted to go to UA, right? Yeah. And they would say yes. Now, for Midoriya's quirk, when it activates, basically, his eyes would turn like, kind of like the Sharingan red. Give me just a second. Deku, Sharingan. Basically, his eyes would be like this. He would be like that, kind of. His eyes would be like that. He would go home. He would, not go home. He would be going to the same alley. He would encounter a sludge villain. Now, just to give it a little more thing, since his power is basically to reflect damage, basically, I'm going to make him a little more OP and add another ability. He can copy the abilities that he... The first time he would lose, but he has the abilities. Now, he has that weak flame quirk emitter that one person gave done to him. He has Bakugo's quirk, but like it's weird how to use it. Basically, Midoriya doesn't have training much on how to use the abilities, so when he's fighting the sludge villain, he would basically blast the sludge villain with a fire flame explosion. His eyes would turn red to activate his quirk, and he would basically flame the, how we say, sludge villain. Now, burned him. Basically, it would turn him into liquid. All Might would come and be like, I am here. Now, Midoriya would grab onto him like a cannon, because he would say, even with a dangerous quirk like mine, cannot be a hero. Now, his quirk is really dangerous because he basically can't die. If he ever was to go rogue, they're going to die. Midoriya explained to him about his quirk. If the first time that he's attacked by someone's quirk, he has a immunity to it and is able to somewhat adapt the abilities to himself. All Might would be, but it's really dangerous because it's hard. Some of his abilities, like, they basically be able to use the quirks that he copied or made his own is hard because he doesn't quite know how to do it. Sometimes when his eyes, to activate his quirk basically is always activated somehow. Kind of. It's basically, how do we say this? When he's using those abilities, his eyes turn red because if he has been in a lot of fights, and he has a couple of from normal people, quirkless people. He would still drop the sludge villain. Just a second, let me check the little video time. Okay, I'm good. Well, he would encounter. Midoriya would go home. On the way home, he would see the explosion. And Midoriya, remember, his enhanced speed, so his eyes would turn red, and he would basically. I would say that Midoriya is about normal speed. I'll give it about 30%. A little combination of Bakugo's, flying speed and Midoriya's vocalizing 3% speed. Basically, a combination like that. He would get there a lot faster than All Might because he's still in his skinny Might form. Since Midoriya's enraged, he would start using a weak flame quirk. Not a weak version, just like the boil. No, never mind. Midoriya would jump in there, try to grab Bakugo. Midoriya would slowly get sucked in. He would use some of the explosions, and his eyes would turn like fully red, and he would start getting angry, and basically his power. I'll say when he's really angry, his his quirk is enhanced by 20 times. So, let's say his normal strength is about 2% of one for all. It would go to about 20%, but it wouldn't be one for all as full strength. Like not one for all, but it is one for all. Kind of, I don't know. Midoriya would basically, his air pressure would basically flow back, the sludge villain, he would get Bakugo to safely. And I would say since they're separated from the sludge monster, Midoriya would lose some of his flames since he was a 5-year-old child, so like he hasn't really trained his quirks. So this is really just a tiny flame, enough to burn the sludge villain, to boil him into basically liquid. He wouldn't really have nothing to. He would basically put a flame circle around him until someone can come and do it. Now All Might wait to see that he was about to step in. He was about to turn buff. But he decided not to. No, Midoriya on the way home, just a minute. Sorry guys, on the way home, he would meet All Might. All Might would ask him if he would like to have his quirk. Midoriya would say yes. And Midoriya would tell him, it would be, let's skip to where normal canon Midoriya would train with All Might. Midoriya would tell him to go into his One for All form and punch him at 100%. Now, he did explain his quirk to All Might, so All Might would do that. He would go United States to smash, hit Deku. Now, Deku would have a hole in his stomach, and it would slowly heal back. Now, he is unconscious, basically dead, and then he would wake up, and he would be more muscular. So, I think off the bat, he would be able to lose One for All. I'm going to say full counting too. So right now, he can lose about 10%, I was like 15% of One for All. Off the bat. One full counting as well. You know what, we'll skip at training. We'll go to where they go to UA. Basically, Midoriya without losing One for All is about 10, I'll give him about 20%. But now with One for All 10%, I'll give him about 30. The combination of both his quirks, now his eyes will be red still, with the electricity, he would basically be hopping there. You know, the normal speed of his, I'm going to call his quirk, what should I call Midoriya's quirk in this, because it's not SCP-682 SCP. I'll call it Adaption, his Adaption quirk. Adaption, whatever. Midoriya would get there, and he wouldn't trip. He would basically speed walk it, and he would get in, he would shut his mouth, and they would get ready to go into the point. He knows about 0 pointers, 1 pointers, 2 pointers, I believe 3 pointers. Midoriya would power up into 10%. He would turn his eyes red. Now, he has learned how to use his quirk fully, somewhat. He can use the quirks that he's adapted. Now, he does have All Might's quirk because really, he has somewhat of, I'll say since he adapted from All Might's punch, he has a 2 times multiplier to his normal power, all of his power. So, with full counting, it would be 10% plus the normal stats of 20% full counting. He can lose about 32% off the bat, but it would still be 10%. Basically, his full strength would be 32%. He would basically, he would be destroying him. He would be able to lose his dad's quirk. Now, his dad, remember, he has his grandfather's quirk, not his parents. Now, his parents have used the quirk on him, so he has their abilities. He has his father's fire kinesis. He would use his fire kinesis, and basically, he would be trashing and helping people, and he would be saving people as well. Now, Yuraraka would scream, he would come, and, it's basically like the Flash, instantly get there. He would lose his fire, a combination of his one flame quirk that he got as a child, Bakugo's explosion, and his fire kinesis. And basically, flame mouth it, flaming out of his mouth with One for All. and it would basically be like somewhat like a tornado. He would start going around in circles, making a somewhat tornado. Basically, the robot would hit and burn. It would burn his arm down. Now, Midoriya has gotten resistance. He has trained with it. Give me just a second. Let me swap this. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys. Let me check this time real quick. I can go for I'll go for 20. Midoriya would basically, when the the robot would hit him, the 0-1. He would hit Midoriya, and his arm would, because of the flames, plus he was using the 2x multiplier that he got from All Might's punch, 32%, would basically burn the arm. Midoriya would burn the arm. It would go backwards like a flinch, but it would move back a little. Midoriya would get done and use a United States, I'll call it the explosion smash. Basically, we're using Bakugo's explosion with the United States smash. Hit the robot and below it, basically explode the head. He would get down using his mother's telekinesis. How I do it, what I mean is he would, basically his quirk would enhance the weakest, his normal quirks. Like, his mother is basically, he can control telekinesis around him. So he would get a big boulder and basically, kind of like Heat Blast, you know, Ben 10, how Heat Blast would fly on a rock, or a piece of earth, like a piece of the earth, and fly down. He would basically be doing that with his mother's kinesis. He would basically float up the other ones, get them off of her, pick her up, and basically get there. He would have about 30 more seconds. He would help. He would help Ida, and I'll say Manetta's in it. The race. He would have first place. He would go home, and he would get the thing from All Might telling him that he's actually beat All Might's score. But I forgot how much All Might's score was, but let's say it's 2 more than him. 5 more than him. So, like, just 5 more than him. We're going to end this here. The next part, we'll be doing part 1, where Midoriya goes in the UA, and they do the practice bowling thing. Basically, testing out their quirk. And that's it. See you guys.